Not. We are not surprised, and anybody who is surprised is a fool. Because you cannot expect Bushmen to deliver democracy. It's like you cook beans and deliver beef. It's not possible.
As members closer to Doctor, have you learnt about this today, or you had information in that regard earlier as we move towards the court martial?
You see, all you hear, all that is brought to your attention is not communicated. So we've been privy to some of the things that were going on, but we had not set the link. And it is Kenya again. Because when you have a rogue government in Kenya, then you're in trouble to have two rogue governments working hand in hand. The people of Kenya and the people of East Africa are in trouble because Kenya government, that rogue government, has surrendered its security to Uganda. And so Kenya is going to pay the price, like Ugandans will pay the price, and all people who go to Kenya as tourists.
Thank you.
Please, take it seriously. You have a rogue government, rogue in Kenya.
Contrary to Section 128(1).
To you. Now, Ugandan opposition politician Kizza Besigye has appeared in a military court in Kampala a day after his wife Winnie Bayayima said he had been kidnapped in the neighboring country of Kenya, right here in Nairobi. Now, Besigye, 68, a doctor and a critic of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, was brought to the Makindye Central Court Martial under heavy military escort. He's accused of being in possession of 2 pistols and soliciting logistical support in Uganda, Greece, and other countries with an aim of compromising the country's national security.
At exactly 1 p.m., amidst tight security at the General Court Martial, a speeding mobile prison van guarded with 2 patrols of military police arrived. On its arrival, 2 individuals, Dr. Kizza Besigye, renowned opposition politician and activist, and one Obed Lutale Kamlegea, were ushered out and into the court-martial walls. But before charges were preferred, Besigye and Obed Lutale Kamlegea told court that it had no jurisdiction to try civilians. The tribunal then inquired if Besigye could be represented by the state if he had no lawyers, something he objected.
I am not a member of the UPDF, and I believe that I should be tried by a civil court if I am suspected of having...
He told court he had not yet issued any instruction. This presented a conundrum of...
And let's talk about your kidnapping in the year 2020. A bishop, a pastor of a church in Burundi, invited you to leave Texas and travel to Burundi to give a talk. You flew in a commercial airliner to the United Arab Emirates, which I should indicate, of course, is a dictatorship. And there you boarded a private plane that was supposed to take you to Burundi. But in fact, the private plane had been hired by the dictator of Rwanda to take you, kidnap you, and take you back to Rwanda. You were put in prison in Rwanda. What happened then? Did the dictator come and visit you?
Well, I was, initially I was not directly taken to prison. I was taken to a place they call the safe house. They call it safe. Why? Because they are the only ones who know those houses and what they do in the house, in those houses, how they do torture and kill people. And I was also tortured. I was tied from the back, my legs tied, my head in a pocket, in a bag, locked, beaten with feet, legs, everything, tortured. And then taken at a given time, I was also taken to prison. So the man who invited me called himself the man of God, the bishop, the apostle, you call him, name it. He pretended to be from Burundi, and yet he was not from Burundi, he was from Rwanda.
They wanted to send a message, not just revenge against you for your ongoing criticism of Paul Kagame, a dictator that has been so good at paying people in the West hiring lobbyists, paying off former senators, congressmen, members of parliament in European countries to tell everyone about how good he is at everything and that he's not a dictator, and brought peace to the country. But you were a voice, and because you are probably the most well-known Rwandan outside of the dictator, he wanted to send a message to everyone else, didn't he? That if you criticize me, you could be living in Texas. I will get you. I will bring you back. I will punish you.
This is what they call transnational repression. The Rwandan government has been doing this for many years. Since in 2013, they killed a colonel who used to be a chief of intelligence for President Kagame in South Africa. They killed the Rwandan former Minister of Home Affairs in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. They just killed many other guys all over the world. So kidnapping people to Kagame, threatening each and everyone, is a part of his mission. That is, it has become a profession. So I was not surprised to be kidnapped because Kagame does this to each and everyone who stands up and says what Kagame does not want to be said about him.
So I asked you when we were backstage just before we came on, and this is why I wanted you to go into this, if he ever came to gloat that he had taken you. And you said that he didn't come, but he sent people. And then what you said to me just now a few minutes ago bears repeating. What happened when the prosecutor general and his right-hand man came to see you? What did they say?
Actually, Kagame didn't come to see me personally in prison, where I was. But he sent two people. One of them was the prosecutor general of the Rwandan government. Aimable Havugiyaremye, that is his name. And another one was Ruhunga Jano, who was the Secretary General of RIB. RIB is Rwanda Investigation Bureau. They came to me and told me that, listen, Mr. Sesabagina, you are not going to stay in this prison forever. But it is up to you. Tell us how you come to meet all of those foreign politicians. And tell us, all of them, give us even their names, what you have been discussing with them, and it will be a matter of time. If you tell us that, do you want to be a minister? After that, you will be a minister. Do you want to be ambassador? Choose a country. Do you want to be a prime minister? Choose. You can be one. The only position you cannot get is to be the president of this country, because you know Mr. Kagame is still there. I indirectly said no, because I told them that, listen, thank you for the message. I am going to think about it. That was a kind of no. Then they went out, and this was it.
But it's extraordinary. I mean, just consider for a moment the fear that this government has, that a critic from the outside is so dangerous because he's a lone independent voice. You don't have an organization, you don't have a big foundation, you don't have a massive voice, you have your experience and your integrity. And their view is, let's take him. How do we silence him? We may not be able to kill him. Maybe we can poison him, maybe he can die in prison of natural causes. Let's offer him to be an ambassador. Because in their minds, that's what you want. In their minds, it's power that is the only thing that people seek.
Yep.
And so they offered you this thinking this is something that you would want or take. It really...
Hello. Hi, guys. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. I'm here to just have a conversation with you concerning abduction, kidnapping, and assassination of the big leader, all the people in power in East Africa. This is the system the people or the leader in power in East Africa, they used to silence the citizenship, the citizen. They use abduction, assassination, and the kidnapping. When I say abduction and the assassination and kidnapping, I know many of you feel like maybe abduction and the assassination. Maybe you feel like abduction and kidnapping, they are the same thing. Why? Because abduction is taking one person from one place to another place unwillingly, or without the will of his family, without the will of the society. And when we say kidnapping, almost also sound the same. But all of them, they end up become assassinating. The result of the people in power in East African, in the way for protecting the power, doing assassinating, the or kidnapping or abduction, all of them, they end up put someone into death. I choose to speak concerning this topic because of different reasons. But I choose to speak about it because that is the topic which everyone is against here in Kenya currently, where people, they don't want to abduction to continue in the country, including President himself. He said that he wants the abduction to stop. But I want to come across this topic using East African, and I will mention just 3 countries. I will mention Uganda at the first point. In Uganda, abduction, kidnapping, and the assassination, it looks like a culture. Government have that right to do that publicly without any person to interfere, and no one will have to refuse. Also, if I say that in Rwanda, it is lifestyle. Abduction, kidnapping, and assassinating by government, it is something like lifestyle in Rwanda, and no one will have opportunity to speak about it. And right now in Kenya, also I can hear abduction is speaking loud. Now I ask African, whose hand are we safe? Whose hand are we safe? In which country are we safe? Because abduction, kidnapping, end up become assassinating, it speak loud in East Africa. I want to speak concerning this. When Museveni, the current president of Uganda, came in power in 1886, he was using the labels. And of some of the labels he was using when he came in power, he went in the camp and took a Rwandan who was a refugee in Uganda in 1958. And then he put them in 1858. So he took them in that confusion of become rebels and fight the right of Ugandan. When they come in power, they make sure that they put everyone who was well educated in prison. They make sure that someone who have the powerful speaking mindset or what is going in the country is living in prison or running away of the country. And that is how, even now as we speak, you will never hear any person who serve in opposite side in Uganda. And if you position yourself to serve in Uganda, in the opposite side of the government, is that one of the challenges you will face is that you will be, your family member, they will be kidnapped, your family member, they will be assassinated, your family member, they will be abducted. And the interesting thing is that those people, they will never reach police station. Those people, they will never reach any prison. Those people, they will never go in any government. It means if you are in position for speaking your mindset in Uganda, you will be kidnapped or you will be abducted, and no one will know your story. And then it will not end up with you only. It will end up come to your family member and the other people who are a friend of yours. So once they know that you are speaking something in terms of position, the people, they choose to go away of your life and they secure their life, because it is dangerous to do things like that in Uganda. Same to Rwanda. Also, after Museveni establishing his government in 1968, he came and then built another strategy now to go in Rwanda using the same refugee who was in his government as the army, as intelligence, to go to establish another family, another political movement in Rwanda, which was led by Paul Kagame, and they end up catching the government. Also, they done the same. Because of the genocide which they claim happening in Rwanda of Tutsi. So any person who would speak something opposite of the government of Rwanda, they will accuse him that that person actually was a part of the people who was doing genocide. So because of that, everyone who was well educated in Rwanda, either he end up becoming in prison, or he will silence his mouth and be quiet. And once you try to speak your mind concerning what was going on in Rwanda, the result is that you will be abducted, and then you will end up not be seen anywhere. So, if I say that abduction and kidnapping and assassinating people in Uganda have 40 years now as we speak, in the way all Ugandan, they are fitting in that system very well. That is how they end up. And now the wife of the president can be the minister of the finance. His child can be the minister of the army. And Ugandan, they are okay. It's because such a kind of atmosphere which is there in terms of abduction and assassinating is something clear. So, same to Rwanda. In Uganda, there is 40 years now as we speak, living life where abduction, assassinating, and the kidnapping speak loud. In Rwanda, there is 30 good years where assassination and kidnapping and abduction speak loud in that country. And guess what? Kenya was a safe place for people to at least to go and have a peace of the mind in East Africa and sit and maybe have a conversation with Kenyan who have a freedom of speech, live life where sound like life, not a live life of fear and traumatized lifestyle. Now, guess what? In Kenya, abduction is speaking loud. Now I'm wondering whose hands are we safe? Which country should we go and be safe? Kenya was the mother of East African. Kenya was the country East African look at. And now abduction is speaking loud. Whose country are we safe? Where should we go for having peace of our life? Because Abduction and assassination and kidnapping is speaking loud. So now, when I'm speaking about assassination is that the people who are in power, like president, they have right to tell police to shoot someone during the day in Uganda and Rwanda. And they will say maybe he was trying to run away of police. That person, in that case, will never end up become in any court. So because you are being killed, and your parents have an assignment to just come and appreciate the president for his good leadership and different stuff like that. And this is 30 years in Rwanda, 40 years in Uganda. And now in Kenya, abduction is speaking loud. Whose country are we safe? But now I want to just appreciate Kenya, especially those who are the leader and those people who are trying to first make sure that Kenya still the right place for Kenya to be. Sometime in those countries when you look at it, especially Uganda and Rwanda, who have that big system, who has been working about that for many years, and who have a strong hold, and the system is working very well. You will find out that people, they are so afraid to speak their mind. You will find out that the people, they don't want to speak what is going on so they don't die. But interesting thing, they're still being kidnapped, they're still being killed, and the people who are dying, actually, there are many than the people who could stand and fight and against such kind of system politics, which help the people in power to remain a dictator and to steal the money of the government and do whatever they want. So the Kenyan who are standing and say, we don't want abduction, we don't want kidnapping, we don't want this kind of culture in this country. Honestly, I may say, to fight it may not be easy, but you better die, all of you, fighting against this kidnapping and assassinating, than to be afraid and feel like maybe it will come to end. I believe that is the mistake Ugandan did. I believe that is the mistake Rwandan did. They felt like maybe they are coming to resolve this problem and this maybe shortly it will end. But as we speak, the people, they still being assassinated, the people, they still being kidnapped. And the only reason why they are kidnapped is not because they done anything mistake. It's not because they done any mistake. It's not because they done anything against the law. It's because they are speaking something what is wrong within the government. And African people claim to be democratic country. And if you claim to be democratic country, how do we gonna survive? If to speak our mindset, if to do whatever we feel like this is not what is right concerning the life of human being, if the result we're gonna be kidnapped, we're gonna be assassinated, we're gonna be abducted, and those all of them, they will end up not be appeared in any place. So I believe, especially for the many in these African youth people in this East African, especially in Uganda and Rwanda, they have lost their life because of this kind of abduction and assassination. So as I still breathe, I don't think I can sit and just see evil thing taking place in our continent, in our East African. I believe it is my assignment to stand and say, stop, East Africans deserve a better life than assassination, than abduction, than kidnapping, and all those kind of bad culture which doesn't support democracy. And I believe also, as I speak, maybe as someone who strongly believes in God, I just want to encourage the people in the religious thing to take a prize and against this culture, to take the praise and say no to this kind of behavior. Maybe today is as youth, today is you as a fathers, but tomorrow is your children, tomorrow is your great grandfather, And if we keep fear to speak our mind because uh, uh, abduction and assassinating is something speaking loud, we are going to lose our life again. So I believe we can die, not dying on our knees. I was reading the book of one of our fathers, and I was reading the article say it's better to die fighting for our right than to die on our knees. So Ugandan, you have accepted to die on your knees. That is your choice. But I believe that there is another good way for living. Rwandan, you have accepted to die on your knees, but I believe that there is another way for living. But in Kenya, we are standing with every citizen. We are standing with every leader who is standing and saying no abduction to the youth, no abduction to our father, no abduction for any person. People, if we have a mistake, we have a constitution. We have the way for punishing someone who is wrong. Take someone in the court, let this be handled by the law, and will be better way to handle this problem. And I believe there's nothing new in our generation. There's nothing new in your government. What you are facing today, the people was in that seat, they faced the same, but they did not respond the same. So respond, remember that we need our youth than you as a person who is in the power. I believe you were supposed to be a servant, not someone who is become a god. You reach at the point you can kill, you can destroy any person you don't want because you are in power. But I believe it's not somehow things should supposed to continue. Our right or our continent, our East African should be the place for everyone. Should be the place of democracy. And that will help us to not only for expressing ourselves, but also it will make the business to move because we'll work without fear and without traumatic lifestyle. Actually, I want to say that life in East Africa itself is hard. We don't have enough of source of income. We don't have enough of people who have that capacity to stand with us in what we are doing. So when you come with abduction and assassination and this kind of kidnapping, honestly, it makes life very, very difficult for citizens and the people would like maybe to support. So kindly requesting the leader in power and requesting you guys that there is other way for living in a better life than kidnapping, abduction, and assassination. Stop killing people. God bless you as you support my voice. And this message should go to every leader who is in East Africa. I'm saying no abduction, no kidnapping, no assassination of our youth, of our father, of our grandfather. Bro, read, do your assignment, and give us a praise for expressing ourselves. I love you on a big level, and I wish you Happy New Year as we are starting. And I want to say this, honestly, I'm coming in power. I'm coming like never before. And this is the year the Lord has done that you should do rejoicing and be glad in it. But we can't rejoicing when assassination is speaking ground. We can't rejoicing when kidnapping is speaking ground. We want something better. So the people who are coming from other nations doing assassination and kidnapping in Kenya, as the information is moving from there and there, if that is true, honestly, we don't want you guys to keep encouraging that bad culture in Kenya. Let Kenyans enjoy life, and let us who are here for safety keep enjoying. You want to enjoy